For all who believe in the Lord, know that He is real. As long as you believe in Him, He can do all things. As long as you believe with all of your heart, and as many as the things I survived, by the grace of God, because tomorrow I will let you know what else I survived. I survived death so many times, and again, now I could put on the checkbox, another form of death I survived. By myself, with my son. And I stand here in front of the chapel, next to the hospital that I almost died in yesterday. But God has other plans for me, and I have faith in Him, because He let me survive all the things I survived for a reason, and that is to help others and to give Him the glory, because His name deserves the glory. Because I cried so much this weekend because I don't want to leave my little boy. I'm too tired to get into it now, guys, but just know that I'm still here by the grace of God. And this is not God, but it's just a representation. I do not pray to a statue, but though I turned to it and I did cry and put my tears on His feet. And I said, Lord, I know you're not supposed to pray to statues, and I don't pray to statues, but Lord, it's just in representation. And I looked to the sky and I told the Lord, thank you for saving my life, for my little boy, for my ministry, and to help others. So I'm leaving you on this cliffhanger, guys. Tomorrow, Barbarisi will tell you what exactly I survived. But just know that I am still here by His grace, by the Lord Jesus Christ's grace. And anyone who doesn't believe in Him, on that day, because we all have to die, every man is appointed to die. And none of us are exempt except for the people when Christ comes through those clouds. We're still being taken up in our spirit. We're not going in our flesh. We'll be in our glorified bodies. So come along with me, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of a walk. I'm not going to get into what I went through tonight because I'm too tired to do it. But just know that I'm still here by God's grace, and by God's grace alone, all by myself, a little old weedy bee. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you the chapel. So I sat on this bench tonight. I went back to the hospital. I was in the hospital yesterday with Weedy Bee all by myself. Like I said, I'm not going to get into what happened, but just know that, yes, I'm still clean and sober. Had nothing to do with anything of that nature. Thank the Lord Jesus. And I carry my little Bible with me, my little miniature Bible. Oh yes, I held this in my hand tightly. You see, guys, God puts us through things for a reason, okay? To press us, to mold us, to make us stronger throughout our journey in life. And as I take each step in front of the next, I am so grateful. I don't think the chapel is open, but no, it's not, unfortunately. But this chapel is very old. See what year. Does it say the year it was established? The rectory? No, it does not. It usually says on the stones. Maybe somewhere else, but you can tell this is very old. This is right, it's hop, skip, and a jump. That's Morningside Park, right adjacent to the Central Park. So also there's another part over here which has stained glass, as you can see. Beautiful. I'm just so grateful that I am here for my son, that I am here breathing and living, and it's just something else I survived. And it was 4 3 days of it, guys. 3 days. Almost 4. Almost 4, because when I came home from the hospital, I was still very much stricken. And I cried just as much as when I lost my JJ and my Diana. When I lost them unjustly to a corrupt system. Okay, beautiful. Look at this. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely beautiful. Stained glass is just... My sister is going to appreciate this video. You know, she was a nun, so... Let's bring down the mags. So how's everybody doing? You guys were probably wondering what was going on with good old Barbarisi. Well, good old Barbarisi was being pressed, was being molded, was being purged, was being put through a purification. Yes, a purification. And I got rid of some things in my home that God also put in my heart. It just put me in a whole nother perspective of survival. Because, guys, come on. How much did I survive? I survived childhood abuse, pretty much every kind. I survived being homeless. Even before that, I survived being beaten by my first husband. I survived losing my first 2 kids because of that. I survived becoming a drug addict and a prostitute for over a decade, homeless on the streets of Hunts Point. I survived having guns, multiple guns to my head. I survived jumping out of moving vehicles. I survived living in the most precarious places you will ever imagine. I survived having my back slashed and having a 20-inch by an inch slash mark on my back due to a psychopath crater face slashing my back and putting it to my throat. I survived being raped at least 20 times. I survived being pregnant on those streets. I survived having rags stuffed inside of my vagina while I was pregnant with my 3rd child. I had him on Halloween. I survived being raped with knives to my throat in all different places, even in a schoolyard. I survived being arrested over 60 plus times. And I don't say this in any kind of bragging, look at me, oh wow, I'm the shit. No, never. I say it in regards to how graceful God has been on my life. And still now I could say to this day, He put me through another purge, another cleansing, another process of having to beg and plead for my life, knowing I'm doing the right thing. And I couldn't understand why I was going through this, but now I know the reasons. I know the reasons why God put me through it, because there were certain things in my home that God did not want in there. And it wasn't Halloween directed decorations. It was decorations that I will show you. I will give you a bird's eye view of my apartment tomorrow. And I will say to you, what do you see different? I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you can do a before and after and figure it out for yourself, because I'm not even going to mention it. I'm not. There's no reason to. But the Lord wanted those things out of my home. They were oppressing me. It was mockery to the things that I believe. It was mockery to the children that I cry and pray for every night. How can I cry and pray for children when I have things in my home of individuals that have oppressed them? I cannot. It's mockery. And that's the God's honest truth. And I am not the judge. I do not judge anybody. I am nobody to judge anyone. I just know why God does what He does to me as an individual. I survived so many things, guys. I survived being choked and dangled over roofs. I survived having the worst pneumonia that you could ever have. The worst kind. Yes. So, when it comes to physical ailments, yes, I did survive that. But I don't have, except for bad veins, bad circulation, which I was told had nothing to do with what I went through. Nothing to do with it. So if you guys are wondering, on a cliffhanger note, what did good old Barbarisi survive? Well, you know what? I won't leave you hanging no more, guys.